Welcome to the Real Estate Ripple, where every conversation makes waves in the world of real estate. I'm Christy.
I'm Joe.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Kroll. And each week we bring you the latest insights, expert advice, and game-changing tips on everything from market trends and lending strategies to local developments right here in Joliet and beyond.
Whether you're a seasoned realtor, a mortgage pro, or just passionate about property market, this podcast is the one that's going to keep you informed and inspired.
So let's dive in and make some ripples together.
All right, welcome to the Real Estate Ripple. We are super excited about today's podcast, where we are joined by Rachel Derry and Victoria Kroll Mallek to discuss thriving and all of the awesome things that these two amazing realtors do in their career. And hopefully this is a podcast where we can take away some great ideas and some also high appreciation for these women. So starting off, a little information about Victoria. She is a third-generation realtor with an impeccable family legacy in the real estate industry. Her grandpa owns Century 21 Pride. Her dad is the manager at Century 21 Pride. And she is amazing with working with the realtors in the office as well as her awesome clients. With a lifelong immersion in the world of property, she brings a wealth of experience, knowledge, and a deep understanding of the market to clients. She joined Century 21 Pride in 2018, and since then has received numerous sales and customer service awards. And now she's also joined by her husband, Alexander, and they bring a unique synergy to their work on how they work together. So thank you, Victoria. And Megan, would you like to introduce Rachel?
Yes. So Rachel Derry is a realtor with Town Center Realty in Joliet. She loves to provide home buyers and sellers with professional, responsive, and attentive real estate service. She's certified with the National Association of Realtors as a seller representative specialist and a pricing strategy advisor. She also prides herself on really listening to her clients and as an agent who knows how to effectively market their home to get it to sell quickly. So she would love to speak with you and help you with all your real estate needs. And I just want to personally say I have followed Rachel since I moved to Illinois 3 years ago, and I just enjoy you so much on social media and watching you grow and your marketing strategies and everything. So it's just an absolute pleasure to be here with you both today. I've watched you both, actually. That's how we met. I met Victoria when I first moved here, too, with social media, and I really just love what you both are doing. I think it's super inspirational as young women.
When I saw that, or Christy had called and asked, and she said, it's Rachel Derry that you're going to be doing the show with, I was so excited. I'm like, I haven't met her in person.
Yeah.
I've been following her, too.
I know her.
Yeah, I was so excited, too. I was like, okay, I've talked to her a million times on social, but never met her in person. So I'm glad.
Yeah.
I love how that's kind of how our job works sometimes, though, where you don't, you're talking over the phone or working through transactions, but it's the in-person meetings that sometimes just gel really well. Can each of you share what life was like before real estate? Did you guys do anything else professionally, or was real estate kind of your first jump?
So for me personally, I actually went to school. I went to Joliet Junior College in their agriculture program, and then I went to Loyola Chicago, and I was really diving deep into ecology. I worked with the Will County Forest Preserve. I did research with the Morton Arboretum. I was also working part-time with the local park district doing before and after school care, anything to pay those student loan bills. Those come on quick. Yeah. And as much as I loved ecology, and I still do with all of my heart, it's a tough industry to break into, especially here in the Midwest. When you really want to make it, you got to go out west in this country. Mm-hmm. There aren't that many jobs, at least senior level jobs, that are available readily. So it was a lot of hard labor, hard work. I loved it, but definitely different than real estate.
But I do feel like you bring some of that knowledge into also what you do with real estate.
I do. I love talking to my clients, especially ones that have a lot of acreage, just how they use their land, how they're utilizing it, different trees, how that affects their property. Just recently, I was working with a client that was going on a flood zone, and we were talking about flood-friendly plants that you can plant that would really help mitigate that.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So that was something that was interesting.
I love that.
Very cool. I would have no idea when it comes to like plants and flooding.
Let me look at my app.
Yeah. Let me go to my plant app,
So Rachel, what about you? What was life like before real estate?
So before real estate, I was young when I got into real estate. I think I was like 23 maybe. So I was finishing high school. I took cosmetology through high school, did hair for a little bit at a well-known salon, shortly realized that was not for me as much as I thought it was. It was not. So shortly after that, I ended up going to a tanning salon and I became a district manager. I was a district sales manager for up to 7 salons there for like 8 years.
Wow.
So yeah, so that was a lot. I was head of marketing and just kind of ran that. So I kind of got a good, experience with sales, talking to people, especially being so young and like learning the work ethic and, how to communicate with people. And then, I decided to get my real estate license.
Yeah, which is a lot of what real estate is communicating with your clients. And you mentioned marketing, and that's such a huge part of what we do in real estate. So what made you both take the leap into real estate then?
For me, it was student loan debt.
Okay.
I wanted something part-time. So I grew up in real estate. There was something that was natural for me. At the time, I was kind of mentoring some agents on social media part-time through college. I was really helping my dad a lot. And it was something natural. I thought, you know what? I've been around real estate my whole life. I can do this. This will be easy. I took the class, obviously. I got through the licensing class. I know everything. And then you get into it and you're like, oh, wait, actually, that humbled me really quick.
Yeah.
But just, having some extra cash on the side was initially what brought me into real estate part-time.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, being at the tanning salon and district managing very young girls for a long period of time was extremely stressful. I was on call 24/7. So, I guess not much has changed.
We're still on call 24/7.
Yeah, I was not making good money. So I'm like, I need to do something else and decided to start my classes. I was actually doing online real estate school like at the salon. So I would be like doing my manager stuff and then I'm like taking an hour over here to do that. So that's pretty much how I got started.
Yeah.
When you started, what was the hardest part about getting into the real estate career?
I would say getting clients and really focusing on my own confidence, talking to clients at the time. I kind of like Rachel, I was younger, and a lot of times clients will look at that and kind of judge you off of your age. But if you come into it confidently and you work on that first, you do all of your training, anything that your association or your brokerage might offer, it really makes a difference. So just kind of giving clients that confidence was the hardest part that I worked on. But once I got through that, it made the job so much easier for me.
Mm-hmm. I would say the same thing. Starting off young, especially with a ton of seasoned professionals, was extremely intimidating and not knowing much. Just really gaining the experience, working with other agents, coming to the association things, and really getting a hang of things.
Yeah. So can you guys share biggest struggles or setbacks you might have come your way and how you overcame those things?
So for me, it was a couple things. I would say first is financials. When I started, I probably used every last dollar to pay my first upfront dues, get my business cards, get stuff going. Okay, what do I do from there?
I feel like that's a lot of people struggle. That's super relatable.
Absolutely. And you think, okay, you're watching all of these coaches online saying you need to wake up at 5 a.m., you need to be paying this much money for mailers, you need to be doing these online ads, and okay, well, I can't afford that right now. How else do I get started? Social media, for me, was a great thing. Not just posting on social media, but using it kind of like a cold calling system. And then on top of that, navigating. So like a lot of agents, when you get started in this business, it's really rare that agents start in real estate and that's their only job. A lot of times they're navigating multiple careers before they go full-time like I did. So I was working in the forest preserve still. There were some days where I had controlled burns and I was going out there for a 10-hour day and then meeting up with my clients right after smelling like diesel and
Showing houses.
and going and showing houses. And so navigating that lifestyle was difficult in the beginning, but I made it work and it definitely paid off in the long run. I think that really helped build me.
Yeah. I would say financials is definitely That was a tough one for me too. Working full time while beginning to start. And then actually the tanning salon I had managed for, they shut their doors completely, like right as I was getting my license. So it was kind of like a big kick in the butt. I'm like, okay.
You were thrown in.
Yeah, I'm like, I gotta get something done. So I actually then ended up nannying full time for a while I was starting real estate. And yeah, just working from, 8 to 6 and then leaving there and going and showing clients and doing whatever I needed to do while still like using all of my money to get started. So that was definitely a struggle to begin with.
There's not many careers that you start and they tell you, okay, now we're not going to give you any money. You have to pay money to get money.
Yeah.
But here you go.
Yeah.
It's
to work for free.
You don't realize that. And like you start at a new company and you're so excited and they're like, okay, now give us thousands of dollars.
Yeah. And it's easy for people to see the success of it, right? But they don't see what I hear you both saying is it took a lot of work to get there, and it's continued work. And you both worked full-time jobs to help fund this new business, and you put your money into it. And that's really what catapulted you both. So it's not, I think a lot of people might look at it like, oh, real estate, I'm going to get into it and it's going to be, cupcakes and rainbows, but it's not. Like, it's hard. And both you ladies put in and you did the work,
What was the big break or defining moment where you felt like things were shifting for you?
So for me personally, I had a change in how I was marketing myself. In the beginning, I feel like I was marketing for sales, just really marketing properties, only exclusively marketing my services. And I had a big shift where I just started having more fun with the job. How can I find joy in this job? How can I find joy in servicing others? And that big shift, I would say, was one of the greater things. Obviously, there were some more practical things, but looking back, that shift in mindset was the best thing that happened in my career. Waking up every day, okay, how can I have fun? How can I serve others? And I would say that the sales really followed that for me personally.
Mm-hmm. Mine was really quitting, all of the other things I was doing. So after, a couple years of switching to that nannying, I really just dove in and I was like, I'm doing this full time. And once I quit and I started really honing in on my marketing, I set a schedule every day. I'm going to wake up at 7:30, even if I have nothing to do, and I'm going to fill my calendar. I'm going to get my systems. I'm going to do my marketing, going to post on social media, and just really making a routine for myself was a huge improvement from, when I first started real estate.
I feel like in our industry, consistency is where the miss is, right? And the fun too. We forget to have fun. It becomes a job, but have fun and keep the consistency.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So was there a pivotal deal or mentor advice, or Victoria, you talked about a mindset shift already, but is there a particular, deal or mentor that kind of helped with that?
So with the mindset shift, I'll key in on that really quickly. I love reading. I love nonfiction books, and Tom and Mike Ferry, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Love them as much as the next person. But I would say that there were a lot of philosophy teachers that I started reading into. Dr. Wayne Dwyer was a big one. Just teaching you how to really go with the flow, not push things too hard. Because I am definitely somebody that loves to push, make things happen. Like, I got to get it going. So finding that balance. As far as mentor advice in real life, I actually had an agent. He's in the office years ago. I was getting ready on a Saturday for showings with one client. I was printing out all of the listing sheets. And I had stacked up there about 16 houses I was going to show that one client on that Saturday. And he looks over, he rolls his eyes, and he's like, Victoria, what are you doing? And he sat there and he told me, he's like, I love what you're doing. And, you don't want to say no. You want to show them. But at the end of the day, you're really not helping them there. They're going to get confused. That's way too many houses to look at. It's taking up a lot of your time. You're not going to be able to service other people if you're spending your entire day doing that. And he really sat down and taught me how to talk with clients in a new way, to say, one, help them, but also help myself, how to create those boundaries with clients. That in the long run, again, helped both them and me.
Yeah, and boundaries are hard. Yes, they're hard. So that's awesome.
But they're okay and they're
okay.
necessary.
Yeah.
You have to, actually, Victoria and I were talking about this the other day. You have to set boundaries, especially in this business, and it's not a bad thing. Having a boundary isn't a mean thing. And it's not saying that I don't want to be there to help you. It is, assisting other people, that their time is also important too in this. And so let's do a little bit of analysis prior to just jumping 100% in and showing 16 houses like Victoria wanted to.
Being more efficient with your time has allowed you to grow and do more, right? So that's a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. Mindset shift for me was basically just realizing that no one is going to do it for me, and no one can want this more than I want it for myself. So starting off in real estate, I feel like I was kind of, expecting like, okay, they're going to train me, and which they trained me. The people they were great. But getting them to actually, Rachel, you need to do this and you need to go here. That's not going to happen. Like, you have to get up and you have to do it yourself. And then like mentor wise, I mean, I was really lucky with the girls that I started out with. My managing broker now and our owner, Jennifer Viano, she was actually my mentor from the very beginning at the other company we were with. So she's been a great mentor. I can call her whenever. Half the time she's like, Rachel, like, you know what you're doing. Stop calling.
Maybe it's just that empowerment.
But having that, having her there has been amazing, and all the other girls we work with too.
I think also like what I got off of that is the teamwork, the unity. And I think sometimes when we're in this industry, it's like, well, I can't be friends with you because you're another really good realtor and someone else is going to use that. Yeah. And that's not true. Like, we benefit from each other. Everyone knows somebody, but like, I think that it's awesome that you had that collaboration with others that can build you up. And, I think that that's so important for getting those shifts too.
What's the quote? It's like collaboration happens at the top, competition happens at the bottom.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
So true.
I think like some of the realtors I look up to that I admire, they're just talk so highly about any agent that you talk to.
Yes.
No longer how long they've been in the business. And that's just something I would love to strive to be. You just want to be somebody that is admired by people. You work well. And, if someone's calling on your listing, they get excited to work with you because your name's there.
Yep.
Yep, definitely.
Once you gain momentum, what habits and actions helped you continue to grow?
So for me personally, I would say giving back to the community was a big thing. How can I give back? But as far as habits go, I am such a person that if I put it in my calendar, I'm going to do it. So time blocking was a huge thing. I never really did that back in college, prior to real estate, but I made a habit of that. So knowing if I put it in my calendar and I say I'm going to do this in the morning, I'm going to do follow-up with clients. I'm going to, it's their anniversary that they bought their house, whatever it is, celebrate all those milestones. Make sure
the schedule gets done, right?
Absolutely.
And how do you have the discipline to do that, though? Because I feel like I hear that a lot from people, and especially being self-employed, it's really tough to like put yourself on that schedule. Rachel, you mentioned that too. So how did you do that? Like the discipline of that? Like, you just knew you had to do it and you just held yourself accountable, or did you have someone holding you accountable, or...
So for me, it was just on my own personally. I just
knew you had to do it.
Yeah. If I put it in my calendar, I do it, and I just stuck to it. And
that self-discipline.
Yes.
That's huge. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm pretty much the same way as Victoria. I'm a big calendar person. I actually have a paper calendar and I do my phone calendar. I don't know why I need both, but I do. So at the beginning of every week, I try to sit down with my paper calendar and really go in there, write all the things I need to do. And the planner I have is great too. It's like hour by hour of things that I have to do. It's the Erin Condren, I think, life-changing planner. That's my favorite. So yeah, just really listening to the tasks that I set myself up for.
So, the next question, what strategies worked best for you? Networking, social media referrals. We've talked about a lot of these things, but if you had to pick kind of one strategy that's worked best for you in growing.
When I meet with agents, I love to tell them this. I'm a third-generation realtor, and I grew up in this business, but my number one competition is my own father. And I say that lovingly, but nothing was handed to me at all. I very quickly had to figure it out, because we have the same network. I mean, we have the same family, we have the same family, friends. And I had
sphere is already like So if anything,
you
had
it
harder.
Established.
He's already established. So when I cold call some of the family, they all right.
We have a realtor.
So I had to set myself apart. I am thankful that before real estate, I was really involved in my community. I worked for the park district. I was a police cadet. I was involved in college clubs. I was involved in my church. So I really tried to lean into those different networks, tried to find things that I loved, people that I knew, and really asked for referrals. Referrals were the number one thing that I got going for me. And I would say asking for those referrals and getting myself established, social media was the biggest thing for that, to get those referrals.
So you didn't hide behind your desk.
Absolutely not.
It doesn't work that way.
I was on my personal social media too. I know a lot of agents, they're a little afraid to put themselves out there on their personal
that
social
too,
media. But that was the best thing that I did for myself, was just utilizing what I had established and growing from there.
Yeah, mine was mainly social media and referrals as well. So my social media, actually, I got a lot of people that I went to high school with, people that they knew, and because I keep up with my social media so regularly, referrals came from them too. So people I haven't even talked to in 5 years, they're like, hey, so-and-so sent me. I'm like, that's great. So just really staying consistent with the social media. And then, yeah, the referrals kind of just came with time. I would say like the first couple of years, I was definitely a little butthurt because I was like, no one's giving me referrals. Like I'm too young, or, but then after
The negative voice in your head. Yeah.
Yes. After I got, a couple of years of clients in, and then the referrals started coming, I would say like year 5 was a big break for me. That's when they really started coming in.
And I feel like I hear that a lot amongst anyone getting into the industry, is like the first year, a couple years are the hardest because you don't see the repeat clients. The referrals don't just roll in because you're new, regardless if you have experience or not. And in the industry, it's just the first year is always the hardest, and you just have to be consistent and keep going. And that's why a lot of people quit. I don't know what the statistic is. I'm sure it's pretty high, that the fallout rate, right?
Yeah.
Because the consistency isn't there, or the discipline and the scheduling isn't there, or the social media. I heard you both say social media consistency. You have to post and you have to share personal stuff and be a human, right?
So I will say, Rachel and I were talking before the show, social media is definitely really important, but it's not the only avenue.
right.
We have one agent in our office who outsells all of us individually. He lost his Facebook password 15 years ago. Like, he doesn't know, he hasn't posted in forever, but he's doing great.
Yeah.
So there's so many different avenues you can take to be successful in this business. It's awesome.
Not a one size fits all for
Well,
sure.
my mom, Janet Scanlon, she doesn't do anything on Facebook, and she's amazing.
for her.
I mean, she's like killing it. She had her best year last year. I mean, it's like,
And in
you don't
this market,
need-
that's something worth.
But you know what? Hers is referrals.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, she is a solid, knowledgeable agent. She doesn't push, and it's referrals from previous clients. It means so much to take care of your clients as though they are the only person that you're with right now, because that's where they come from.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. I think really just like honing into on like what exactly it is that you're best at. Like some people, social media, some referrals, some networking. Like it's definitely not one size fits all. Like I was
No.
telling Victoria, I'm not a networking person. I'm just not. When it comes to like big group events, I feel more comfortable with social media, referrals, sphere of influence. But someone may be total opposite, and networking is their thing.
Yeah.
So looking back, what's one thing you both wish you knew starting out in the business that if you could like tell your younger self just getting started, what's one thing you wish you knew?
Not everybody is going to use you, and that is okay.
Yep.
I know there's a joke within our industry that, like your best friend used another reel. How dare they?
It's happened to all of us, right? I'm not the only person that's happened to.
Yep.
Okay.
If you're in it for the long game, it's almost guaranteed going to happen
Right.
to you. Now, I don't want to dismiss, I don't know what everybody's story is. Obviously, there's some situations where, that is hurtful, and maybe that ruins that relationship forever. But in the long term, it's not worth it. When you're playing this business in the long game, it's going to happen. Meet it with grace. Yeah. I've had some of my own best friends meet with me over coffee and say, hey, I'm going to be buying a house. I'm not using you as a realtor. It's a little bit of stab in the heart. Mm-hmm. You feel it.
At least they told you.
Absolutely. And so you wish them well. And you know what? When you meet people with grace and love, I've gotten so many referrals from those friends. Not that that's what it's about, but I've seen a lot of agents that have burned relationships, and then years later, they kind of regret it. Was that friendship, was that family member worth losing for one deal? That's one thing I wish I knew starting out is
how to lose a deal.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Basically, just that instant success is not a thing. I feel like all these real estate shows, Selling Sunset, Selling the City, like all of those, you watch those and you're like, oh, okay, I can dress cute. I can go to all these nice houses and I'm going to make a ton of money. And that is not at all how it is. I mean, some agents don't even sell a house their first year. So, yeah, just knowing that success is going to take a while. It's not going to be handed to you.
I think the average agent, I don't know what the statistic is now. Obviously, numbers haven't updated. Don't quote me on this, but the average agent only sells a couple houses a year. I mean, that's just reality.
Yep.
What's the biggest lesson you learned in your real estate career?
You're never too experienced to ask for help.
Love that.
Yes, I love that.
Rejection and failure are part of real estate. I had a really hard time getting rejected when I started. I had multiple listing appointments and did not get them. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? But it was simply just the experience and me being super young. And I learned to try to not get offended about that and just, learn from it and say, okay, what did I do here? What can I do better next time?
I like those.
So what advice would you give struggling agents? The last few years, it's no secret, have been pretty hard, right? So what advice would you give struggling agents trying to break into the industry and grow to the level that you both have?
So I think one of the best advice that I'd give, and what made me think of this, looking at this question, social media, if we're going to key in on that really quick, because that really is a great tool. And I think a lot of agents, when you're starting out, it's something that you don't have to pay for. It's cost-free marketing. The number one thing I hear from agents, and it's the same thing I told myself, is I don't want to be seen as a salesy person. I don't want to be annoying. People are just not going to want to see that. You have that negative voice in your head, and a lot of that is your own self-insecurity and fear. I had that myself. At the end of the day, if someone is thinking that way about your business and about what you're posting and putting out there about yourself, is that really somebody you want to be working with anyways? That's kind of the advice that I throw their way. So be confident. Just keep putting it out there. Keep sowing those seeds. Things will grow.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, I say keep going, be very consistent, don't quit, and really find your niche. So find what it is you're good at. Are you good at, helping first-time home buyers or veterans or move-up buyers? And then really try to, focus on those things to kind of gain an audience from it.
There's riches and niches. I say that all the time
I
to
love
my
that.
loan officers.
You have good
There's
little
riches
sayings,
and
Megan.
niches.
Yeah,
I
you
do.
really
I'm
do.
I'm full
I
of them
know.
today.
If you started a t-shirt company,
If lending doesn't work out, that's
Second business
I'll buy
venture.
it.
all right. There's riches. But it's so true. I had a mentor tell me that once. There's riches and niches, and mine became veterans. And it's evolved, of course, and you can specialize in more than one thing. But everybody knows, that's just what, because it's what I have fun with. It's what I enjoy. It's what I know. So that's just what I navigate to. I don't trying to be something you're not. I feel like is what I feel like social media might intimidate a lot of people because they're trying to be fake or trying to think they have to do it a certain way. And it's just be yourself. People will like that. The right people will come to you then if you're being yourself versus you don't want the not right people. If you're being somebody else, then you're not going to get the people you want to attract.
And you're not going to feel as comfortable either.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
first-time home buyers that was my thing
Yeah.
for the first probably 4 years. But they felt comfortable with me. I felt comfortable with them. And it just worked. So that's that's what I started with. Yep.
Yeah.
If someone's struggling today, a realtor is struggling with trying to kind of find their footing, because obviously we know the last couple years it was really fast and there was so much activity going on. Well, now it's kind of slowed down. 24 slowed us down a little bit because there's not as many houses available. And you got to do a little bit more, I don't want to say work, but kind of. You have to start expanding a little bit more than we did since 2020.
The phone's not ringing.
Right. No, it's not ringing off the
Phone's
hook.
not ringing.
Right. What's one thing that you think that an agent who might be struggling right now, what can they do in order to take that next step forward?
Don't be afraid to shift gears. So I know a lot of agents that maybe they've been in the business for 2 years and they're not seeing those results. It's just, especially with the change of market. If you've been doing the same thing, so just focusing on social media, focusing on mailers, and it's been 2 years and you still haven't seen those results, that's a sign. Start shifting gears. Try something completely different. Don't be afraid to meet with your veteran agents. I know that that's different. You know, you hear a lot of these agents talking about what's new in technology. Take everything that you can from every agent, every avenue, and go with it. But don't be afraid to shift gears. That's my number one advice.
Yeah, I would say definitely what Victoria is saying about talking to other agents. I would ask a seasoned agent what you can do to help them. If you can follow them along on appointments or help them with buyers, open houses, like just really get in there, and then you're gaining experience. You're getting stuff to post on your social media, and the seasoned agents need help. So I think really just trying to be their friend and learning through them would be a great step.
My first couple months, I was calling every other agent in our office that was seasoned, asking, one, can I do an open house at your listing? Can I please go in there? Or two, can I come along with you to your listing appointments just to shadow you? And
there's people who are doing it. There's people even in this hard market that are super successful. Like you guys are proving it, and there's a handful of agents who are doing it really well. So
I love it. I love when agents call me up because, one, it makes me look good, too. Yeah. You know, I'm bringing somebody like, hey, I'm Mr. or Mrs. Seller. Like, this is somebody that's going to be shadowing me. But you're also going to have some agents that say no. I had some agents that told me no, and that's okay. You just keep calling and asking. It's really important.
Yeah, like I am more than happy to help any of the agents that need help starting out, like with social media, marketing, whatever. They can come along with me to a listing appointment, whatever anyone needs. So I think there's just a lot of people don't ask now. They're scared to ask. So I think really just what Victoria said, and if you get rejected, that's fine, but other agents will let you.
I'm full of another saying, the answer is always no if you don't ask. I had a mentor tell me that too, and it's so true. Like, the answer is going to be no if you don't ask, and you're going to get however many no's before you get a yes.
You have to be okay with no. It was one of my own family members that's an agent told me no. Probably the best thing they did for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would also add in, you need to treat it as a job. Because a lot of times people just want to show up and they see just the glamour of showing the houses and going to closings.
Or social hour.
Like, if you don't treat it as a job and you don't segment out time for your office time, the behind the scenes stuff that isn't glamorous, that you're not posting about, like, you're not going to make that traction. You have to, I feel like the more people that you see are doing and working it and have their timed out, those are the agents that you're like, okay, they're succeeding, such as posting on social media. Like, it sounds like both of you guys have this regular plan that you post. That's part of your plan. That's part of your day, right?
Yeah. And I'd say, like, a lot of agents, too, I'm hearing a lot of, well, I don't know if I want to go and show this buyer because I don't think I'm going to get anything out of it. I'm like, it's not about getting anything out of it. It's about experience. So I'm hearing that a lot. I think, like, COVID
what's in
times,
it for me.
Yes. And I think COVID times really changed things because agents came in and everyone was buying. It was easy. They were getting deals a lot easier than it is now. And now if they don't see instant satisfaction, they're not wanting to do it, and that's kind of what's causing people to not be able to continue and become more successful because they're pumping the brakes on it.
Right. My mom always told me, you don't get paid for everything you do, but when you get paid, the payment's pretty good. So like there's a lot of, I don't want to say, like, there's a lot of stuff that you do like just pro bono, like you go and you help somebody and somebody's, parent passed away and they're going to be absorbing that house, but they want to know the value of it. Okay, I'll help you out. I'll give you my expertise on this, even though I know that you might not be selling. You might not be selling today, but maybe you'd refer me to somebody else, but like those are the things that you don't walk away with money from that, but you do walk away with making that connection with that person. Right. And so, her biggest thing is don't expect to get paid for everything, but when you get paid, it'll make it worth it.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, too, what people don't realize is you mentioned planting seeds earlier. And when you plant a seed, you don't see the flower right away. I mean, it takes time. So you have to nurture. And do you have a follow-up system? And do you have customer relationship marketing? I can't tell you how many agents and lenders and insurance agents and lawyers I talk to, they don't have a CRM. And they don't have a way to keep in touch with their clients and their database. And it's just like, that's where you start too, right? You have to have a system in place. You also mentioned systems earlier. Like, you have to have a system in place for follow-up because the fortune is in the follow-up. If you're not following up, you're not going to see that flower grow. You have to water it, and doing the work is watering.
Yeah.
Like, it's so true. And the consistency in it, the consistent behaviors.
Yeah.
100%. I'm interested to see how AI is really going to take that over
Yeah.
for some agents. I haven't really gone into it myself. I like doing things organically, but I know there's a lot of power in it, and I'm interested to see how that's going to
work
for people.
work with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and creating systems, I mean, it's time consuming, but when you're starting and you have the time, that's the time to really do it.
Yes.
Because once you're busy, you are going to be so grateful you have those things in place.
It becomes like muscle memory at that point,
Yes.
right? And you could do 10 transactions in a month versus 10 in a year because you have the system to be able to do that, right?
Yep. Yeah, you'll definitely be happy you took the time, and like that's something put in your calendar. Wake up, work on systems, and go from
It's a
there.
non-negotiable.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you
so
both
much
so
for
much.
joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Well, and if you guys share your social media handles, we mentioned social media like 8 times. So how can we follow you?
So my Instagram is at Rachel Derry Realtor, and then my Facebook, I believe, is Rachel Derry Realtor Town Center Realty, and my regular personal page is Rachel Derry.
Yeah, likewise, if any agents want to add me on my personal Facebook, Victoria Kroll Mallek. My Instagram is at realtor.pdf, and my Facebook is facebook.com/Kroll Homes.
Awesome.
Thank you, ladies.
All right, well, let's all go follow them. Join me on that. All right, well, thank you so much for joining in on this episode, and we look forward to sharing some more information the next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, everybody.
For having us.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Real Estate Ripple. We hope you're walking away with some valuable insights and a fresh perspective on the world of real estate.
Be sure to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Whether you're on the go or closing deals, we've got you covered every week.
And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd love for you to leave a review and share the Real Estate Ripple with fellow realtors, lenders, and anyone who wants to stay ahead of the ever-changing market.
Until next time, keep making waves in real estate and remember, every ripple counts.